go up against a veteran like Matthew Stafford, how does that complicate things in terms of somebody who kind of maybe knows all the tricks in the books?
That we definitely talked about that a lot this week. The main thing to look at with Stafford when you watch the tape and you're talking about just targets, he has full access to the field. Like arm strength wise, we know that. So a lot of the quarterbacks we played in the past had this past year had the ability to get the ball to all different spots on the field, but he's really accessing all parts of the field. So he could throw it to the flat, he could throw it deep down the sideline, he could throw the intermediate on the inside. So now, how we said it to our guys, we said, listen, he has full access to the field. So it starts with defending the field inside out. You're trying to force him to the, less, the where the completion rate's a little bit lower outside, but when you got arm talent like he has, it's like I talk about my older brother. He's a basketball fan. Melo, he could give it to you any way you want. Stafford could give it to you any way you want.
What have you made of Kyron Williams and like the maybe not necessarily amount of yards that he's had, but the amount of touchdowns and volume? Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
You're good. Just to answer your question, I like him a lot. I like him a lot. He's a very patient runner. Does a good job of pressing the line of scrimmage. He has the ability to jump cut both right and to the left, and then his ability on contact to get. He runs behind his pads, but he's able to, shrink his surface area or whatever the proper term is to make it hard to tackle. But just watching him, he's really impressive. He's really impressive.
That offense is right at the top of the league when it comes to their use of motion.
Mm-hmm.
How does that element challenge you as a defense in terms of the communication and execution?
That's where it starts right there. We told the guys this week, I think GA made a point of it right from jump. Listen, every play we're going to have to talk. So every time we show film, we should be talking. Every time we have a practice rep, we have to talk because they force you to communicate. And I think that's the beauty of the scheme that Sean runs. I was just so impressed, whether it was, in the past, last year, I was so impressed with what they did with that group because we practiced against them in the spring, in the summer, and where they got to. But the stress they put on the defense to communicate, get lined up, still try to play aggressively so you're not being passive with some of the window dressing, and they're really good at the plays they run. The menu's not big, but they run those plays to perfection, and that's why they're always one of the top offenses in the league. Really good coaching staff too. Nick Caley. I know Wendell. Jerry's over there. They got a really good staff. They do a good job.
Coach Divine came back last week and he showed some progress. What did you see from him and his growth, and what do you expect from him this coming up week?
I thought for him, he had a very productive game, and create some splash plays for us. The play he made on the screen, that was big time right there. As these teams, they drain you out and try to create the 1-1 situation there. Made a good play on the sack, really decisive on that one when he came off the edge. And then, so I was pleased with his production. Obviously, we all have room to grow, especially off a loss. And then moving on to this week, I'm just looking for just to get better. We got to get better. We're chopping wood at that, just trying to keep that the main thing, get improvement daily. And I know the fans and everybody might get sick of me saying that, but, that's how we're going to get what we want. We got to get better every day. We got to get better at what we're doing every day, better at being consistent, better at me coaching. We got to get better every day.
Word on the street says Cooper might be back this week. How much more of a threat does his return possess and a challenge to your defense?
Shoot, as soon as they say he's working out, that's where my mind went. He's playing. So, tough, great route runner, can block in the run game. He gets open, he catches the ball, he blocks in the run game, he makes yards after contact and after the catch. Yeah, it's real tough. He's one of the best in the league in the business right now. And so it'll change some of the game plan a little bit, but they got other receivers too, that are really coming on and really, again, I just think they do a real good job of knowing what they're going to do. I think that comes from the coaching. They're also a talented group, but the thing that stands out the most with their receiving core is their toughness. They're willing to block in the run game, to do all the extra stuff. That's what stands out. And to me, that's a culture that they've built there. And that starts with the head coach and the GM.
Ben has really stepped up in terms of growth and how well he's been kind of shutting down the traffic that comes his way and targets. Just what would you attribute that to, the progress that he's made year to year?
The work he's put in. You know, we talk about practice execution becomes game reality, whether it's the plays that happen in practice, the drill work that happens in practice, the extra drill work that happens in practice. From that builds his confidence to go ahead and make those plays. You know, then the next step is going to turn around and get an interception. Then you're going to see, oh, then it's going to go to a whole different level. We've all seen that in our careers with young DBs. So just want to keep progressing, but it came from him making a decision to work on it. Like most of these guys, you got to make a decision. It's not going to happen by luck. You got to make a decision. And it's going to be hard. So I'm sure it was hard for him, but it's paying off.
Antonio Pierce referred to Adam Butler last week as a spark plug for this team.
Mhm.
You've seen from him on and off the field as one of the leaders in that interior group that is continuing to gel and build chemistry.
The first thing is consistency in terms of his demeanor, in terms of his approach to work. It's always been the same since I've known him. You know, he comes in with a certain level, a certain energy every day. He's a no-nonsense guy. And if he has a question, he's going to ask you. You know, he's going to say, why are we doing this? Which, you know, any good coach, we're not going to shy away from that. That's good stuff. But his energy on the field is just how he approaches the game. It's really important to him. You could tell that. Just even the first time I met him, first time I watched him on tape, you could tell it's important to him. He knows his role and what we're asking him to do. And he just wants to be the best at what we're asking him to do and then challenge himself to put himself in those different categories with the players around the league. But, I mean, the consistency from him is always a positive for me.
Patrick, as a defensive coordinator, how do you walk the fine line of getting pressure from your defensive ends on the quarterback, but not having them shoot too far up the field and then the running back getting underneath that? How do you navigate that?
It's a delicate process. You know, this is a passing league. It's a passing league. So you know how it is in the run game. We're trying to constrict the space. So, you know, you don't want to give in, dip up, dip in, dip out lanes. So, you know, a lot of that starts with our angles in terms of outside in, using the run pass tendencies to try to tie that together. But it's a delicate balance. But it's a passing league, but you know, to stop the run, that's if you don't stop the run, then it makes for very long Sundays. But there's definitely comes into play. Like, can you recognize the backfield set? Can you recognize the situation? Can you get any bird rabbit keys off of the lineman or whatever it may be, and then try to play accordingly? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.